You are tuned in to the MEDIMAGZA podcast. Welcome to this very special conversation as part of Organ Donor Awareness Month in South Africa. Today we are shining a spotlight on an inspiring initiative that's set to transform the way children learn about their bodies, healthy living, kindness, and the importance of organ donation. Now, we're talking about TEL, Transplant Education for Living Legacies, and of course, the exciting launch of the Orgamites Mighty Education Programme in schools, originally developed in Canada and already active in over 2,000 or rather 3,200 schools worldwide. This program uses a team of fun, organ-inspired characters to bring vital health messages to children aged 5 to 11. On the line, we've got Stella de Kock, the managing director of the group. Welcome to MEDIMAGZA.
Thank you so much, Clive. Really appreciate the opportunity.
Just very quickly, for those that may not be familiar with TAL, what is its mission in South Africa?
So, TEL, Transplant Education for Living Legacies, it's a NPO founded by two lung transplant recipients. And the main focus, as the name TEL says, is conversation. So we want people to have the conversation about organ and tissue donation while everyone is healthy, and that they can really make an informed decision to support organ donation. Because at the end of life, the family will need to give consent for organ donation. So that's why it's so important for us to have people be educated so that they can make an informed decision and support organ donation.
No, that is really, really fantastic. I've got to tell you, like following our previous conversation we had, I think this is such an important topic to have, and I think it's not spoken out enough. So we took the initiative to get more of the word out there. Now, what exactly is the Orgomites Mighty Education Program, and how did it find its way from Canada all the way to our local schools?
Yeah, so the Orgomites, Mighty Orgomites, is an educational toolkit, focuses on teaching kids between 5 and 11 years old about their organs, how to take care of them, as well as the healthy habits. Because, if you know about your organs, you know what's good for them, and that will then in turn make sure that you can live a healthy life and hopefully, prevent lifestyle diseases from developing later in life. And it was introduced in Canada, and the Canadian Blood Services is like they drive it in Canada. And we got to know about the Orgomites, and through collaboration, they decided to donate the program to South Africa. And TEL, as well as the South African Transplant Society, have then localized the content for our, public and healthcare professionals.
No, that is incredible. I think it's such an amazing initiative. Now, these characters that are so uniquely concepted, can you introduce us to some of them?
Yeah, so Captain Bone Marrow, he is the leader of the pack. And the mighty organs, it's 8 organs that can be transplanted and is most needed for organ donation. So you get heart, and they teach kids, about being active and looking after their hearts. Kidney is the importance of a with regards to filtration and hydration, your liver's detoxification, as well as healthy eating habits. And obviously, your pancreas always wants you to consume less sugar. So that's just a few of, the orgamites. But like I said, they are most important for transplantation.
Tell me something. Why do you think it is so important to have these conversations, especially to the youngsters at such an early age?
So first, the habits and attitudes get formed at a very early age.
Mm,
And if kids understand their organs and they can then take the message home to the family and start the conversation there. Because if they understand their organs and they can explain also to their parents how mighty these organs are, it is a conversation starter at the family, dinner table. And if the kids educate the parents, then it is such a powerful message to get out there.
No, I think that's so true because essentially you want to look after your most important organs from such a young age. You need to understand, don't put XYZ into one's body because you want to live your most fulfilled life at the end of the day, you know. With over 8,000 South Africans, including 40 children or so, waiting for transplants, how can programs like these, make a difference?
So the thing is, just in South Africa, the family will need to give consent at the time of your passing. So if the family had the conversation while everyone is healthy and in a I would say, in a calm presence, then when the time comes and they need to make the decision, then they can support organ donation. Because if you haven't had the conversation or haven't thought about organ donation earlier, and you get approached by, the transplant coordinator at the time when your loved one has been declared brain dead or already passed away, a lot of families are, but we haven't had the conversation. We don't know what our loved ones would want it. And then the default's usually no. But if they do know the wishes, then they can support, organ donation. And it's an easier decision. It's still going to be very difficult to make because
Mm.
it's a very sad and, stressful environment. But then at least you know that we had the conversation. We know what our loved ones' wishes were, and we can then make an informed decision.
No, absolutely. I think that's so important. With everything or most things of late becoming so normalized in the household, how will this program help normalize the conversation about organ donation amongst families?
So, if the kids get to learn about it at school, then they can take home the message to
Mm.
their family, and there's also resources available for the family to use. They can have a look at the videos, there's coloring sheets, there's some playing cards. So there's fun activities that they can use to, have the discussion and do education. Like I said, not just about organ donation, but healthy habits and kindness as well.
Hello, I'm Captain Marrow, leader of the Orgomites. I'm here to introduce you to the Orgamites Mighty Education Programme for kids ages 5 to 11. The only global organ donation and health education program of its kind. Meet the rest of the team. Together, we are the Mighty Organs, dedicated to inspiring people everywhere to connect with and appreciate the life-saving power of their organs, create healthier habits, and spread kindness too. To help teachers make this come alive for their students, our fun, fact-filled toolkits are as easy to teach as 1, 2, 3. Which reminds me, Toolkit 1 is called Mighty Me. Getting students to better appreciate their bodies is the first step to better health. So on this educational adventure, we start by looking under the hood to discover what organs are, where and what the vital organs do, why the mighty organs are more than just special, and how to look after them. Along the way, kids learn some truly jaw-dropping facts and find out all about the life-saving powers of organ donation and transplantation. Toolkit 2 is called Mighty Habits. The earlier in life we start practicing healthier habits, the higher the chances these habits will stick and the greater their long-term positive impact will be. How strange, then, that hardly any attention is given to teaching kids why habits are important, how they're formed, and what the most important healthy habits really are. In this educational escapade, we highlight the 5 mighty habits all kids everywhere need to know in order to lead mighty, healthy lives. And of course, we'll be sure to show how their mighty organs, that's us, play a crucial part in all of this. Last but not least, Toolkit 3 is called Mighty Kind. In this one, we move beyond the health of our own bodies and show how we can work together to make the world a healthier, happier place. It's called the Mighty Kind movement, and everyone's invited. Yes, even you. Anchored in practical, simple activities everyone can do. Students learn why and how kindness is changing the world. For good. There you have it, the Orgamites Mighty Education Programme. Together, let's empower our children to become champions of their health today and for generations to come. Orgamites Mighty Education Programme.
Stella, now I understand you guys are launching the Gauteng Schools program. What is that rollout going to look like?
So we're doing a pilot where we focus on the primary schools in Gauteng, and we have a webinar that focuses on how to, because this is a plug and play resource. So the teachers can download the resource, the families can download the resource, and start using it immediately. So with our webinar and workshops, we just want to basically assist them and guide them through the process and make it a bit easier for them to introduce it to their classrooms.
That's
So
phenomenal.
yes, we hope to reach as many primary schools as possible, but it's also not just in Gauteng, because it is online based and it's a free resource, that it is available nationwide.
I see, I see. Now, Stella, these toolkits, how are they going to help the teacher and healthcare workers per se in this aid program?
So the lessons have been worked out. There's teacher resources. There's, like I said, video, coloring pages, activities. So everything is already worked out. So someone can really just plug and play and start presenting the resource, as well as the lessons is worked out in such a way that it's age appropriate. So for instance, your 5-year-old, you're just going to teach them what organs is, in your body, as where the 11-year-old, she can go into more detail of the function, how this organ works, how it works in relation to other organs, and, transplantation. So it is, like I said, age appropriate. So, and the parents can also then adjust it accordingly to, how they know their kids and what they will be able to understand.
Okay. I'm a very big supporter of education starts at home. Now, with this program, how would the kid per se, is it continuous learning when they go home? Do the parents also have resources or access to these resources to further continue
Yes.
the conversation?
Yes, they do. And, even if a kid doesn't learn about it at school, the family can download the resource and start educating, themselves as well. And, like I said, the resources are specifically, there's a section for the family that they can recap on what the kids learned at school. But like I said, it's also a standalone that the parents can use it, to educate the kids themselves.
Now, for anyone watching, how exactly can schools, clinics, community groups get access to the Orgomites toolkit?
So they can go to our website. It's tell.org.za, or they can email us info@tell.org.za, and they can also go directly to the Orgomites website, orgomites.co.za.
Oh, fantastic. Are there opportunities for volunteers or sponsors to get involved and help expand the program?
Yes, definitely. We want as many people as possible to go and, have a look at the videos, access the information available, talk to their teachers, their friends, healthcare professionals, and really tell them about the resource that is available. And we are a Section 18A, we can issue Section 18A certificates to any, donors. So, and it doesn't matter the amount. So we will welcome anyone to, get in contact with us and help us spread awareness and do the education. Because a lot of people in South Africa are aware about organ donation because we did the first heart transplant. But there's a lot of myths and misconceptions. And just to name a few, for instance, people think that it will delay their funeral. That's not true. You can still have an open casket. And if someone didn't tell you that person donated their organs or tissue, you wouldn't know because the body will look the same. A lot of people think it's against their religion, where most religions do support organ and tissue donation. Another thing is people think, oh, if the paramedics or the medical staff know you're an organ donor, they won't save your life. That is actually the opposite. They are going to put more effort in to save your life, and to really make sure that when it is inevitable, then, they will only then, do approach the family to have the conversation. Because a lot of people are scared that if they are organ donor, that someone will somewhere just take their organs. That's not true. It will always happen with family consent. So it doesn't matter what age the person is, if they did put it in their will, if they are a registered organ donor, if the family doesn't give consent, the process won't start. And it's also, there's no cost involved for the families. So there's such a lot of myths and misconceptions that we really need to make sure that people have the informed consent.
Transform your waiting room into a space of value, not just time. Introducing MEDIMAGZA, South Africa's premier digital medical lifestyle magazine, now available right in your practice. With one sleek acrylic stand and an easy-to-scan QR code, your patients get full access to engaging, educational, and credible content curated by South African doctors, from wellness to lifestyle, mental health, and more. And for you, a CPD-accredited version delivered monthly and linked to your MP number. No setup hassles, no hidden costs, just a smart modern way to engage, educate, and empower every patient visit. Upgrade your waiting room today.
I'm going to quickly step out of the Orgomite box and throw this onto a South African level because it is Organ Donation Month, or Donors Month per se. Is there anything you would like medical professionals to know about organ donation?
Yes. So with regards to that, is because it's not taught per se in schools and during the university education, the medical professionals don't get exposed to organ donation unless they work at a hospital or had a patient of theirs receiving a transplant or really dealt with it. So for me, what is really important is that the healthcare professionals do, refer all potential donors to the transplant team, and that they understand the process, and that they understand that the transplant coordinator and the team will support them in managing this potential donor. And like I said, no one will do anything unless the family consent to it. So that's why we also need the healthcare professionals to know about, and understand the process, because even from them, there's a lot of misconceptions. Even they would sometimes say, oh, but this family is of a certain religion, so they won't, give consent. But it's so important to give every family the opportunity to make an informed decision. And if healthcare professionals understand the process and they can support it, then they can also educate their patients and their fellow healthcare professionals. Because it's like Prof. David Thompson says, that organ transplant starts with a clinician identifying a potential donor, referring that potential donor to a transplant coordinator, a family getting the opportunity to make an informed decision, give consent, and then, the transplant can take place. So there's a lot of role players involved in this process.
Yeah. What would you say, in your professional opinion, are some of the myths that are currently going about with medical professionals regarding organ donation?
The fact that, especially with brain death, that a lot of, the professionals don't want to declare a patient brain dead because they feel like they then failed, taking care of this, person. But it's also that brain death needs to be done by two independent doctors, and it doesn't need to be a neurologist or a neurosurgeon. It can be a normal general practitioner, just as long as one of them have got 5 years experience. And so the process of it's traumatic for the whole team if they do have a patient that is brain dead. And it's, like I said, it's traumatic for them as well to look after this patient. But if they do involve the transplant coordinator, they can also act as grief counselors for the healthcare professionals and help them managing this brain dead patient, and to then make sure that this patient might be viable for a donation.
No, I think everything you've mentioned is so important, because I do feel a bit of extra education is needed when it comes to the sphere of organ donation. Is there anything you think that would help negate this in the future of healthcare? What would you say that South Africa possibly needs to implement to negate, viable organs being
I
rubbished?
would Yeah, I would say mandatory referral. For instance, in the US, that every death needs to be referred to a transplant coordinator. And if the hospital doesn't do it, they could lose their license to operate. So in that sense that, even though the healthcare professional might be of the opinion, oh, but this person is too old, if the transplant coordinator comes in and they do the assessment, and then they can make an informed decision to say, but even the person is older, the organs are still viable to be transplanted. So, and especially like 20, 30 years ago, organ donation was just, the potential donors were usually just young donors. And as the medical, research and, medication, expanded and improved, that the donors are getting older as well. And they realized, for instance, in South Africa, we did the first HIV to HIV kidney transplant, where previously it was thought that the HIV person, positive person, the organ would just reject. But they have since realized that the graft survival for a HIV positive person is exactly the same as a HIV negative person. So that is, things are moving so fast that if you don't keep track of it, you might be under a misconception to think, oh, but, this person has got diabetes, so they might not be able to be a donor. And again, if the diabetes was under control, then yes, they might not be able to use the pancreas, but the kidney and the heart and the liver might still be fine, or even tissue donation. Because I think a lot of times also people don't think about tissue donation. And like I said, it's the process as well, they're always very respectful. The retrieval takes place in theater. It's like a normal operation. You have got all your normal procedures taking place during the retrieval. And they also, the transplant team does a donor pause, that before they start the operation, everyone takes a moment to say thank you to the donor as well as to their family. So they're very, very respectful. And unfortunately, in the movies and series, it's always the bad part of organ donation that gets portrayed, but that is absolutely not the case.
Okay, that really, really encompasses that question fully. So thank you for that one. For the Medimag viewers at home that don't really know much about organ donation, what are the different organs that can be donated?
So in South Africa, if we start with the heart, then it's the lungs and then the kidneys, but you will only receive one kidney. So from one person, you would help two people with kidney failure. Then the pancreas usually gets transplanted with a kidney, and then the liver can be split between an adult and a child. So it can be transplanted whole, but it could also be split so that you help a child and a adult as well. So we've got 5 organs that can help 7 people change their lives. And for the tissue, if they can't use the heart, they can use the heart valves. They can use the cornea. They can use the skin. And I always say it's not like skinning a chicken. It's really just the top part of the skin, and it takes from the stomach and the back, then your ligaments, your arteries, and bone. And bone gets used in every single orthopedic operation. So you really are saving lives. And for living donation, it's again, you can donate a part of your liver or one kidney, and then obviously you can donate blood and bone marrow. So that is for the living donors.
Fantastic. Thank you for clarifying that up for our readers and viewers at home. Stella, what's the plan or the vision for Orgomites in South Africa for the next 5 years?
Well, we hope that every single child in primary school gets the opportunity to learn about their mighty organs and how amazing they are and how the difference one person can make in 7 other people's lives and improve 50 other people's lives with tissue donation. So it's really about, healthy habits, looking after yourself, but also caring for one another.
Thank you for your time, Stella. Of course, for sharing such an uplifting and important initiative with us today. The Orgamites Mighty Education Programme is more than just a set of lessons. Of course, it's a movement to inspire our younger citizens to take care of their health, show kindness, and of course, understand the life-changing gift of organ donation. Thank you so much, Stella, from TEL, of course. Any final words for our viewers?
Have the conversation with your family. Tell your family, make it known. And that is just look after yourself.
Are you looking for a unique platform to showcase your brand? Look no further than MEDIMAGZA, South Africa's first digital medical lifestyle magazine. With our engaging blend of healthcare, mental wellness, lifestyle, and living, we connect your brand with a diverse, health-conscious audience. From cutting-edge medical technology and expert insights to vibrant features on fitness, travel, and food, MEDIMAGZA reaches professionals, families, and trendsetters alike. Our interactive digital format ensures your message isn't just seen, it's experienced. Whether you're in healthcare, wellness, or lifestyle, MEDIMAGZA is your gateway to impactful advertising. Don't miss out. Partner with MEDIMAGZA and elevate your brand to new heights. Visit medimagza.com and start your journey today. Thank you for listening to the MEDIMAGZA podcast.